want you to know what my 24 hours are like. I don't want you to see.
I mean, we are spiritual beings, and that's something I can't never run from.
That I had to leave some things behind, some parts of me behind.
Lately, these past few months, life just feels different. People seem more disconnected, distracted, tired, almost drained in a way that's hard to put into just one sentence. And everywhere I go, everyone I talk to feels it too. You see it everywhere, even in entertainment. Music just doesn't hit as it used to because people don't feel the same. Movies today don't stick or last like they used to. Nothing feels memorable. And honestly, even friendships feel different now. Friends aren't as friendly as before. So the question I keep asking myself is, what actually shifted in the last few years? Is this just the times we're living in, or is it exactly what Kendrick Lamar was pointing out, the cultural shift that's quietly happening? On September 11th, 2024, Kendrick dropped a track called Watch the Party Die. At first, everyone hyped it up as another response to his explosive beef with Drake. And let's be real, most people who didn't actually listen still think that's all it was about. But on that track, Kendrick wasn't talking about the beef at all. He was speaking on where the rap game is heading, the culture, the music industry, everything. How everything started feeling hollow, surface level, material, and how the energy around music was quietly fading. Fast forward about 13 months and the numbers proved it. As we discussed a few weeks ago, rap completely vanished from the Billboard Top 40 for the first time in 35 years. And here's the wild part. The last rap song still holding on before that drop? Kendrick's own record with SZA called Luther. That song had an insane 13-week run at #1, and it stayed on the chart for nearly a full year. But when it finally slid below the top 40, rap was gone completely. And think about that. It's kind of symbolic because the very artists calling out the cultural disconnect were the last ones holding that spot before the shift. It wasn't just a chart moment. It confirmed exactly what Kendrick predicted was coming. And that's where rap becomes just an entry point into something bigger. Drake and Kendrick represent two totally different sides of the spectrum. Drake, for many people, embodies the flashy, material, surface-level side of rap in society. The lifestyle, the luxury, the aesthetics. That's what people notice most. But here's the truth. Drake has depth. He's one of the most emotionally introspective artists of our generation. It's just that people celebrate the parts with less substance. Meanwhile, Kendrick is the opposite for a lot of people. The introspective, spiritually aware, socially conscious lane of rap that's always existed, but doesn't get as much spotlight. And this isn't about comparing them. They're both legends in their own right. And it's not even about their past issues. It's bigger than that. Their duality speaks to the moment we're living in. Two top artists, same genre, totally different energies. And the reason it matters is that it mirrors a split happening everywhere, not just in music, but in culture. On one side, you've got noise, endless stimulation, trends, distractions, pressure to always be on. On the other, depth, slowing down, protecting your peace, staying grounded and real. And most people, they're getting pulled toward the noise. Not because they want it, it's just easier to fall into. It's loud, it's everywhere. And zoom out and it makes sense. We live in a time of extreme abundance, endless content, endless opinions, endless stimulation. Everything's loud, constant, spiritually draining. Kendrick said it best in the song. They wonder why I'm not enthused to drop. The more visible you get, the more your spiritual self is tried. And we've all seen it, the cost of being visible in this digital age. Post or disappear, show up constantly or be forgotten. The more exposure you have, the more your mind, your energy, your spirit gets tested. The real question is, what are we giving up for that visibility? Every post, every share, every scroll, the algorithm takes a piece of you, not literally, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It rewards what keeps people scrolling, what keeps the machine running. And that's the part most people don't see. You're not just feeding an audience, you're feeding a system that doesn't care about your peace, your sanity, or your well-being. And that's why so many people are pushing back. You can feel it. People don't want to be watched constantly, don't want to perform 24/7. Tired of being on all the time, because most of us are already on just trying to survive. Work, bills, pressure, expectations, barely enough energy for ourselves, let alone an audience. Many of us have hit a limit where the noise, the stimulation, the pressure just doesn't feel good anymore. You see it in social media behavior, in dating, in how people speak to each other. There's a slow, collective pullback happening. People are stepping away from the dysfunction they used to chase, and that's exactly the space Kendrick was coming from. It reminds me of something Jack Harlow said a few years ago about fame making people feel entitled to your private life. He explained it with an example. People want access to everything. He doesn't want them seeing his day-to-day, doesn't want people in his personal space, doesn't want them knowing who he's dating. Once you give enough, people take it all. His solution? Simple. Cut off access.
I don't want you to know what my 24 hours are like. I don't want you to see the inside of my room. I don't want you to see. I want that for me. I don't want you to know who I'm dating. I don't want you to know this and that. I want something for me. Because if you do enough, they'll take it all from you. It's all for them if you give them enough. So that's one thing I've learned is cut off some access.
Now, most of us aren't famous, and you don't have to be to get this or relate. Tons of people feel the exact same pressure in their everyday lives. I mean, if you got one of these devices in your hand, that basically means anyone else with the same device has access to you, and you're expected to perform, update, respond, explain, entertain all the time. What Jack was really saying wasn't about fame. It was about the basic human need to protect yourself, to have something that's truly yours, to not feel like the world owns every piece of you. And that's the same energy Kendrick was tapping into. Now, when we focus on Kendrick specifically, obviously he's in a different lane. He's famous. His visibility is global. The pressure hits harder. The expectations are heavier. But I don't think that line is just about him. It's about all of us living in a world where being seen comes with a cost. And the real question becomes, what exactly is that cost? An artist once told me something I'll never forget. If you want to succeed in this game, you can't control everything. You have to surrender to your pain. Meaning, you can't keep trying to manage every single version of yourself that people imagine in their heads. At some point, you just have to stop performing and simply be. And Kendrick actually talked about something related a few years ago, but in a totally different way. He said being a vessel isn't just about being an artist. It's about letting your flaws, your pain, your honesty flow through you so other people can learn from it. He said the ideas aren't coming from him, they come through him.
I mean, we are spiritual beings, and that's something I can't never run from in music. I always felt like God used me as a vessel, whether to show my flaws, whether to show my intellect, to show my pain, to show my hurt, to share my stories. These words, these are ideas that's coming way beyond me.
So when you hear him say, the more visible you get, the more your spirit is tried, you start to realize he's not exaggerating. He's speaking straight from experience, from being watched, judged, analyzed, and consumed every single day. And even if we're nowhere near that level of exposure, a lot of us felt a version of it in 2025. This year, so many of us hit a level of exhaustion we haven't felt in ages. The world shifted in ways we barely noticed as it happened. Things feel more fleeting. People feel more fleeting. Everything we thought was solid suddenly feels temporary. A lot of us chase things we were convinced would fulfill us: success, validation, attention, relationships, material goals, and then got them, only to realize they weren't really carrying us forward. They weren't feeding us. They weren't aligned with who we were becoming. Many of us had moments where we looked back at things we once craved and quietly admitted, this isn't going to take me where I'm trying to go. And that hits because it means the past version of you can't survive the future you're stepping into. One of the clearest ways to describe what so many felt in 2025 actually came from Erykah Badu last year. She talked about that moment when you're evolving, but also realizing you have to release the version of yourself that can't carry you forward, the one that feels familiar, comfortable, but no longer serves you.
That I had to leave some things behind, some parts of me behind. So it felt like a funeral of sorts, because you have a part of you has to die. Every time you evolve, you gotta leave it back there. You want it because it's familiar. A lot of times we like to resort to the familiar, even if it's toxic.
She described that emotional funeral we all go through, the painful moment when you realize a part of your old self has to be left behind, not because it was bad, but because it just can't carry you into the next season of your life. And that's when this whole idea of transformation really clicks. I see it like a metamorphosis, a caterpillar starting as an egg, moving through every stage, reshaping and eventually becoming a butterfly. Nature reminds us that every version of us has seasons, and some seasons have to end for the next one to begin. Kendrick taps into that energy too. In the second verse, he says, I see a new earth filled with beautiful people making humanity work. Now, the phrase new earth is mostly tied to the Bible. Kendrick has always been open about his faith, baptized at 16 and again at 20. But beyond religion, the new earth is taking on a wider meaning today. For a lot of people, it's not about faith. It's a way to describe the feeling that life is shifting. The world we knew even 5 years ago doesn't feel the same. And whether it's relationships, tech, culture, or our personal growth, you can feel that humans are changing too. Maybe that's why the party feels like it's dying. Not because things fell apart, but because we outgrew the version of ourselves that kept showing up there. 2025 was the year the noise stopped being entertaining. People didn't leave the party because it ended. They walked away because they were tired of losing themselves in the crowd. And that's the point Kendrick was making. At least that's how I see it. The party wasn't just music, culture, or the industry. It was us, the version of ourselves we dragged from year to year, even when we knew it wasn't taking us anywhere. And maybe the reason it feels like everything is ending is that something new is finally starting. If you made it this far, drop a like, because this was definitely a heavy, stimulating conversation. You made it to the end. And yeah, we're basically in 2026. I hope the next chapter you're stepping into is full of clarity, alignment, and a lot of good energy. And of course, I appreciate you guys for riding with your boy another year. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. See you in 2026. Hopefully I'll drop this video soon.